If you guys did not catch the trailer that released this past week for Blood of Dawnwalker, this is a new game, dark fantasy, by the ex-director of The Witcher 3 and Cyberpunk 2077. They wanted to do something big, bold, and ambitious. They couldn't do that within CD Projekt Red, so they started their own studio, Rebel Wolves, and this is the game they're creating. I think the main trailer had over 1 million views in like a day, something like that. People are paying attention to this one. So let's check it out in case the few of you that are watching have not seen it. This is the Blood of Dawnwalker.
Must be here somewhere. This way.
I mean, right off the bat, it's got that dark fantasy vibe, right? You can just tell.
It's right. It's all right.
Lunka! Don't hurt her!
Hopeless situation.
You gave us quite the chase, young.
Please, sir. She's just a child.
A jerky guard or king,
Roderick,
whatever he is.
remind me, did I make an exception for children?
No, sire.
No. That would have been foolish, would it not?
They spread the plague just as well as adults.
And there's only one way to stamp out this sickness.
No!
Not just a runner, but a fighter, too. Had we met under a different moon, things might have ended there.
Here we go. Gosh, just so good right off the rip. Whew. Oh, gosh. That part got me. First time I watched this, that part really got me.
Lunka!
The teeth are also really freaky.
She needs help. Fast. Please, let us pass through. I beg of you. Please. Please.
You know she's getting like there's something more than just curing her, right? You got to know that.
How?
I am life. I am death. I am everything in between. I have been watching your little valley. Pestilence, famine, killing, blood spilled carelessly like water. Things will be different now. For all of you.
I like this line too. Thought it was very cool. A couple gameplay clips here. We'll talk about those too. And just a little bit of action. Not a ton. I think it's like 4 clips. Oh, that's a nice Vista shot. Oh, man. So good. Yeah, I am really pumped about this one, guys. I think this game could be really huge. And right, we're getting a big gameplay reveal summer 2025. What's in the summer? Oh, yeah, it's Summer Game Fest. Bandai doesn't usually do their own event, so I don't think that we're going to see The Blood of Dawnwalker do its own thing. I think they're going to try and get as much attention on this game as humanly possible. The concern I have is, okay, they're showing this game gameplay summer 2025. How close to a release date is that, right? We've seen other games that kind of shoot their shot a little too early, and then it's a 4 or 5, sometimes even longer period gap before we get to an actual game. The hype's died down. There's many games that have gone through that kind of iteration. But new team, Rebel Wolves, developing The Blood of Dawnwalker, and I'm just super pumped for this game. I did a deep dive into their website, and they actually did a live stream blog type of thing. It was really cool. It was well produced. They're walking around this castle, all the different teams talking about all the different things that are coming to the game. What I really like is that the events of the game happen 2 years after this night in the church here. Brensis is the main vampire. Him and the rest of his brood are in charge now. And immediately when I started understanding this a little bit more, I started thinking about like almost Far Cry 5, where that's the one that was set in the North America, right? And all of the different children, I can't remember, Pope children, I can't remember what the name of the family was, but the lead guy was, the main guy, and then he had all of his like brothers and sisters, where they each owned a part of the world. And I really feel like the team is going to try and tap into that system a little bit here, with each of the vampires kind of holding sway over a region of this world. We don't know how big the world's going to be, but, they made a really clear point of showcasing the different vampires under Brensis in this trailer. Each of them has a very different style, a different aesthetic. I think we're going to see them play a pretty big role in the full game. But the main character, Coen, he is a Dawnwalker. Obviously, after the events of this, he gets cursed by Brensis. You see that when like his eyes change colors. He is now a Dawnwalker. He's a human by day and a vampire by night, and he's able to walk in both worlds. Why Brensis chose him to be a Dawnwalker, cursed him, don't know. But what we kind of learned is that the vampire holding sway over the world is a good and a bad thing. They've got, obviously, they're the main antagonists. There's no doubt about that, but they just rule differently. And I actually think that's a really interesting concept. We think of these types of medieval fantasy games where, like, an evil king or queen is in charge, and it's kind of the same old tropes over and over again. You've got to kill guards that are, surrounding a castle. They've got something precious in the castle, blah, blah, blah. They set up roadblocks. They do all these things. Well, vampires change that dynamic immensely. Now they can weave in elements of dark magic and fantasy to a greater extent. And I think that's what we're going to see with this game. Ultimately, though, this game is going to get compared to The Witcher like no other. And so how does The Blood of Dawnwalker, 1, stand out? 2, how does it differentiate itself from The Witcher 3? This trailer doesn't do a good enough job of making me think that Coen is anybody special. He just seems like kind of another younger dude in a society that is going to test him. So it's going to be really interesting to see how they elevate his character. But the gameplay already looks pretty cool. Now, we just saw these 4 clips, but we've already got, like, right here, right? I'm going to bring it back just a second here, and we'll talk about it. So right here, we see Coen on top of a roof. So I think Assassin's Creed, right? I think of a character that can climb up the rooftops, parkour a ton, and there's that element of the game here. That is not something that was explored in The Witcher 3. Is the team going to go more that direction? That's really interesting. And then you've got kind of the opposite of him coming down that high elevation, which definitely cements in my head that, okay, this sense of verticality is going to be a thing. That's going to be a mechanical test for them. We all know, if we've anybody who's played a Ubisoft game, like, we all know that Assassin's Creed parkour systems, climbing systems are a little clunky. Can The Blood of Dawnwalker find a way to make that really smooth? When you think of a vampire, you think of superhuman abilities, paranormal abilities. Can they somehow convey that through the actions and the movement of the character so that Coen doesn't feel like he's a human climbing a wall, but he's a vampire climbing the wall? How's he going to do that? Is he going to be able to teleport to the top of buildings, things of that nature? It's going to be really interesting to see. We know how he's getting down. He's going to use his claws. He's going to, kind of just like fast fall off the building. One more clip. Here's some combat, which I thought was really interesting. He uses that teleport right there. You catch it really, really quick. Boom, teleport. Boom. which I thought was really cool. And then we've got this really awesome scene right at the end with this construct. This kind of actually threw me for a loop, right? I had no idea where this comes from, because now I'm looking at a game like this and I'm thinking, oh, this is a Souls game, right? This is an enemy you would expect to see in Elden Ring, Dark Souls, even Lies of P, right? This feels like a Lies of P enemy, and I just think it's really interesting. So this game is going to have a lot of eyeballs on it. You could tell it's going to be a big game. Like, this shot kind of solidifies for me. It's a big game, but I caution that we don't get our expectations up. It's still a new studio, and new studios, for the most part, don't often go toe-to-toe with games like The Witcher 3. So it's incredibly ambitious, but let's just set our expectations right, because the game itself might not be as big and as crazy as we think, right? Just looking at this vista, we see the main castle area, right? The main city. We see some stuff on the hilltops, like right here. I don't know if this is a church, cathedral, something like that. Honestly, not well defined in this shot right here. And then we see a lot of the valley itself. So if the world in the game itself is just this area, that actually feels a little bit more accurate for me. For a new studio, I would consider them maybe a AA studio, right? Because they've got Bandai Namco backing, but they don't have a proven track record. I don't know how big their team is. Probably in the 50 to 100 range. I wouldn't expect them to be Ubisoft level or EA level, or even, FromSoft level. So just all I'm saying, set our expectations accordingly. Let's wait until the gameplay reveal in summer 2025, most likely at the Summer Game Fest. This one could be special. It could. It's got a lot of potential just based on concept and pedigree, but we just don't know.